Man, what it do, what it does, man. I'm telling you, man. If it ain't one thing, it's another, man. I had to re-record the video, man. But it's all God, man. It's all God. No matter what it is, there are things that it's not that God's stopping you from doing it. Because obstacles in the way don't mean you shouldn't do it. And there are other things that God put obstacles in your way because you shouldn't be doing it. You know, like me trying to record these video, yeah, some might happen. I have to re-record, but that don't mean I shouldn't. Versus, I try to go and join the military, and God put me in a car accident. And when I get into the car accident, first of all, I go try to join the military, getting ready, getting prepared, doing all of these different things, making all these changes to my life. And then when I'm about to be deployed, something comes up. They say something wrong with my paperwork, with my file work. Or I lied about my criminal background, yada yada. No, I didn't. That's the recruiters. And me, I'm just bad like, oh yeah, oh okay. Ain't saying nothing. And the recruiter gonna go take me out to eat when it happened because it's his fault. But anyway, and while I'm waiting for a few months, I end up falling back into my habits. And then I get into an accident. And then when I get into the accident and I come home from the hospital 3 days later, because on that third day it was Christmas Day, and they were like, hey, you want to go home? You gonna heal up anyway. Because I didn't know the severity or the levity of my situation. But okay, you can go home, yada. Man, I go home, and a couple days later, the army shows up to say, hey, you're cleared, you can go. But they look at me, in that temporary state. It's like, oh man, bro, you fucked up. You ain't going to no military. You can't serve. And, oh yeah, when I got sworn in, I'm like, bro, what the hell am I doing? Why in the hell did I join the military? But I ain't think nothing like that before that moment. I was excited, like I was gonna do some things, you know what I'm saying? Do something major. But after I did, I'm like, bro, what the hell? Bro, what am I thinking? I'm tripping, bro. I'm tripping. So that was like our first indication. But anyway, overall, it's like, that was an obstacles put in my way, because that ain't what I should have been doing. But recording these videos and speaking on these things that's something I should be doing. Even though I be going back and forth, my thoughts be going back and forth, about I should do it, I shouldn't do it, and all the reasons I should and shouldn't. But as I'm learning, I can't depend on, those guys sitting on my shoulder, you know what I'm saying, speaking in my ear. They can help me and guide me, but they can't actually be the guide or the God. They serve God. They serve me. Because this is all God anyway. That's all God's working. All God's operation. This is all God's operation, man. What they got going on in this world is for God's glory. Now, I be struggling with myself on some stuff, like okay, if it's good for me, ain't it good for them? I'm doing right. They can't do right. They don't have it in them to do right. They don't think about doing things in a certain way. You telling me all they think about is, their desires, what they want to have, having fun, tasting good, smelling good, looking good, etc. Is that it? Actually, I think what I'm gonna say is based on my conditions, and I meant to put this at the beginning of the video, as a pretext, as a start off. I know it may sound crazy, but I wanna go outside in the rain, cause I am outside in the rain right now. And when they find out who Rajiya, man, they probably gonna go crazy. Cause when I found out, I thought I went crazy. It's all this is God, and I'm seeing it plain. Or better yet, they got the song. I'm feeling like Moses. I'm feeling like Moses. I got a 100 nigga with me. Feel like I'm Moses. Well, actually, I feel like Elijah. The river behind me is parted. I'm giving my power to Elisha. He bringing people from the dead and then blinded the people that despised him. Don't remember the rest of the story. I'm lying. I feel like Elijah. The river behind me is parted. I feel like Elijah. And what you feel like? Ooh, I feel like Elijah. I got one nigga with me. His name Elisha. Oh hey hey hey. Well, hey man, it's all God, man. And since I bring up Elijah, oh yeah, we gonna call this the tangent line anyway. Some video might be strictly on a subject. Other videos gonna be me speaking on various things. You know, you go look up tangent line, or you went well into your years of mathematics while you were in school. You know what a tangent line is. If you don't, you're gonna look it up and you're gonna be like, oh, okay, I definitely can see that being applied to what he's doing. But Elijah, the characters that people talk about from the Bible throughout my life is Moses, David, and Jesus. Okay, Jesus is a given. They talk about Moses and David. Why they don't talk about Joshua, Elijah, or Elisha, or as I would say, Elisha? Why they don't talk about them? I mean, or they talk about Sodom and Gomorrah and the angels coming to light and saving light. Bruh, I guarantee you, them angels is none other than Melchizedek and Abraham. I'm telling you, Melchizedek and Abraham. Similar to the story toward the end of the book of Judges when there was a Levite who came, I don't remember who the person was, who came to the town of Gibeah and someone offered him a place to stay. And the people came to him and did that whole Sodom and Gomorrah thing. But instead of the place being destroyed by fire and brimstone, the Levite gave up his concubine, and they wanted him, but they gave up his concubine and they brought her back dead. And he cut up into 12 pieces and sent her out to the 12 tribes so they can declare war on those people. And it just so happened to be the Hivites lived in Gibeah. The Hivites were Canaanites who came to Israel and said, hey, don't kill us. We will be your slaves. And it just so happened that Benjamin, the tribe of Benjamin, was there and they got killed. Got caught up in the crossfire. And when it was over with, they felt bad for destroying Benjamin, and for the few men they was left, they took women from one of the tribes who did not go to war with them, which I think was the tribe of Dan. Boy, and to me, that just killed that whole thing. Like, oh, I'm of the tribe of Benjamin. Boy, it's so a lot of us are of the tribe of Benjamin. Really. The only way I can buy that is of the tribe of Benjamin. If it had to be a certain people, the tribe of Benjamin gonna be some Hispanic looking people. You know what I'm saying? Cause what I notice is everybody, either you black, white, or you something in between. The darker you are, the longer ago the mixtures took place. I'm sorry, the darker you are, but your hair ain't nappy. The less nappy you are, but the darker you are. That's how long ago it's been since, that mixture happened in your generations. The lighter skin you are, the more recently it happened, or if it happened way back then, what happened is, y'all had this little bit of admixture and everybody made it with the admixed people, and that was the look, the genes, the composition that's preserved. Like evidence or something. But anyway, Elisha, just like what happened with the Levite, and I'm saying Abraham and Melchizedek were those angels. Elisha, once he received a double portion or an Ephraim of power, because the Ephraim means double portion. But once he got his Ephraim of power, having double the power of Elijah, he did things such as blinded people with light, just like those angels blinded those men in Sodom and Gomorrah. Those were men of God. Men of God do those things. Men of God do what Jesus do. just like they did what Jesus was doing beforehand, and Jesus said it's gonna be more to come after me. Same thing. Somebody out here want us to think that that ain't the case. Like that was then and this is now. I do think there's a it said there's gonna be a thirst for the word. I think that's real. There's a thirst for the word, not a thirst like please give me the word, I'm so thirsty, but more of you see somebody dehydrated, they don't know they're dehydrated. They think everything's fine and this is the way it's supposed to be. But you see, like, hey bro, you dehydrated. That ain't what it do. You need some water. Yeah, that's the thirst for the word that I see in these days. And us being men of God, you notice that those men of God were being tried and tested. The testing of Joshua is leading these people who have no faith. I'm putting it out there in case it ain't clear. Leading these people that don't believe in God. You leading these people that don't believe in God, that have very little faith. That takes away from your power. You can get things done, but you can't get things done for everybody with you because of their lack of faith. The greatest faith that Jesus said he seen compared to the worst. The greatest faith he seen was a man that came to him and said, hey, my people are either they're dead or they dying. Can you come heal them? Jesus said, okay. He was like, hey, you know what? You ain't even got to come with me. You say the word, I believe you. And Jesus was like, what? Wow, this is the greatest faith ever. In Israel, of course, it said, this is the greatest faith ever. And the opposite of that was the people that we talk about. We talk about Mary's, Lazarus's, and stuff like that. Not that Lazarus was the one who had this lack of faith, but when they came to him and said, your Lazarus is dead, come heal him. He said, okay, he's healed. Go away. No, we need you to come. We need you to come. And so he came and everything, he said things. And then he said, I'm only saying these things so that y'all can hear it. Because y'all need to hear it. And y'all don't believe it. I ain't got to say anything. But with that being said, just relaying that back to the whole, these folks lacking faith. Even Jesus spoke anger like, you people of little faith. But we know, people are familiar with the stories of Elijah, so we know about his trials, and then the trials of, of Elisha. I'm kind of rusty, but I'm definitely can say that one of his trials was, people coming to attack him, and that's when he blinded them with light. Another one of his trials is with people of lacking faith or a little faith. He got full faith to tell Naaman, hey, go to the Jordan River and wash 7 times, and you'll be healed of your leprosy. And he did it. And one of Elisha's people, Gehazi, showing a lack of faith, when Naaman was healed, he said, hey, he offered Elisha, a reward for it. Elisha wouldn't take it. And he went away. But Gehazi went and chased him down and said, hey, he changed his mind. He'll take your money. He got the money, came back to Elisha like, hey, where you been? I know where you been. Don't you know I'm with you in spirit? And now what's going to happen to you is you and your descendants are going to have leprosy forever. Sound like blasphemy of the Holy Spirit, don't it? Sounds just like what happened in the New Testament with Ananias and Cleophas, right? With the blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. When the apostle was like, why y'all lying? Don't y'all know that we are with you in spirit and we know what's going on? And then they start falling dead. The man fell dead, and the woman, I think, name is Cleophas. They was like, you the one caused him to do it, and she died. People of little faith, or people whose sin has stained them and stained their faith. We'll say Jesus was without sin, but it's really seeming more like Jesus is not stained by his sin. Just like all the chosen are not stained by their sin. Samson not stained by his sin. Elijah, Elisha not stained by their sins. You ain't tempted, but you only tempted by your sins. Jesus was tempted. We call it the great temptation. What was his sin? For desiring power? For desiring the ruling of the world? And you don't desire things just out of desiring as much as these desires is based on something. It's based on him being able to turn stone into bread if he was hungry. But instead of doing it for pleasure and just to, feed himself, he gonna do it for God. And that wasn't the time to do it. And we'll sit here and think that there's just an actual physical entity tempting him physically when really it is his self. It is his ignorance, his past self that's tempting him. It's him coming out of this meditation, coming out of the wilderness to escape from the flesh, to escape from the false, illusory, ego or self. He came out the meditation and he's still thinking about the same sinful fleshly things. Man, I'm hungry. Ooh, I want to eat. I'm so hungry, I'll turn this stone into bread using this power God done gave me. Same stuff we go through all the time. Rather, it is of great power of some common stuff. Same stuff. Rather, you are those chosen people of God, or you just people of God, period. Or you're a people of the faith. I say people of the faith as in people who would be grafted on to the vine that we are naturally on. Remember, it's the tangent line. Yeah, I gotta remember that, man. And I'm outside in the rain. Hopefully that wind ain't really blowing into the headphones and that. Yeah. I go ahead and say a tangent line for what I looked up because I didn't advance that far in my years of mathematics. I fell victim to the politics in school. But a tangent line is a straight line that intersects with a line going all over the place, basically. But at some point they intersect. They cross. But anyway. And what it is I'm the line going all over the place and you the straight line and this stuff gonna intersect with you. With your boy, I don't know if it was Cujo Goody. I don't know if that's the name, Cujo Goody or Chemo Goody. It's probably Cujo Goody, who said, "Listen to me now, believe me later on." That's what happened with things that you don't hear now or you don't believe now. You gonna believe later on. Especially when the salt of the earth tells you. But especially when men of God tell you, when Elijah, Elisha, and these prophets tell you. But everybody worships David, though. I wonder why David's so important. I know why David's important. Well, I know some reasons why David is important raptor, and within the context of the story. It was an important time. He so happened to be the person that's ruling. Kind of like how we'll look at history and we'll hear about these rulers who did this and that, when really it's the people with them that did it. What they would represent is like the head, like, no, it'll be like that person who has the courage and everybody else follow along with this person of courage, even though they can do the same thing. That's what David made me think of, while people like Elisha, Samuel, Joshua, Elisha, Elijah, Samuel, Ezekiel in them, make me think of the people who they gonna do it regardless. They don't know how, they don't know why, but it's in their nature. That's what they gonna do. Even when they're not impelled to do it or compelled to do it, they gonna do it. While people like David, they're compelled by something. And David represents, like, if anything, I think David represents like the greatest of Gentiles. Not that he was a Gentile, but of a Gentile-like faith, while the prophets and people like that represent the faith of the people. The faith of the people of God. Because you notice, David rolled with all kinds of people. They were going against giants. David had giants on his team from the other side. He had Philistines on his team. You know what I'm saying? Giants, because it's describing them as giants. It's describing things about them, having huge swords, and stuff, or like Og of Bashan having a huge bed, or people names that I can't remember that, but it means stuff like giants, like Rephaim or Rapha. It means giant. If you look at the genealogy of Judah in First Chronicles chapter 4, I believe, there's a Beth Rapha in his line of people, and a Nahakash. Beth Rapha means house of giants. Nahakash means house of serpents or house of shining ones. What's that about? And David comes through the line of Judah, by the way. People say the scripture don't just mention nothing just to mention it. In First Chronicles, either late chapter 2 or in chapter 3, there's a is it Boaz? It's not Boaz. Who's Boaz's father? Man, I forgot who Boaz's father is, or is it his son? Whatever it is, this person name is mentioned in this genealogy where someone gave birth to all daughters and no sons, so he gave one of his daughters to his Egyptian servant and gave birth to somebody that gave birth to somebody that gave birth to Boaz. Oh, I'm sorry, Obed. That's who it is, Obed. Yeah, they gave birth to Obed. Did Obed come from an Egyptian male servant? Was Jesus basically, was it all this to include everybody, so whatever Jesus do, everybody is included by bloodline and by spirit? Interesting stuff. Yeah, I'm really, I feel like I'm just spitting knowledge and I'm not really, revealing none to the people, but the revealing is done within you. Even if I did reveal something, it don't, you could be like a bird that just, a parrot that just repeat what you hear, or something that sounds good and tickles your ears. But eventually, when it's real when it's like you thinking it and nobody told you. There are things I told people, I don't expect them to remember I told them. I don't expect them to remember me. But I expect for what I said to be a seed planted, and over time it's going to grow and cultivate as God will be doing. And when I say God, I'm speaking in a traditional sense, but I'm also speaking in a universal sense where God is all things. Every work is God working. The devil is God in ignorance. The devil is us in ignorance. God is us in knowledge. With ignorance is the seed. Knowledge is the fruit with more seeds in it. God is eternal. What's eternal never ends and it never begins. Even better, eternal, the breakdown of that is X and term. Term as in time, X as in beyond, outside of time, outside of division. Mind means division, just like demon and time does. That's their roots, division, to divide. And God is beyond division. We do not see God with the fleshly, carnal, temporary mind. We don't see God at all, and that's seeing God. To not see God, that's seeing God. When you seeing God, you're not seeing God. Now, it's one thing we speak within a temporary, so that we can go from one short to the next. But it's another when we speaking in that absolute sense. Beyond solved. Absolute. Ab as in beyond. Outside of salute. Or solution. Solve. Things that are solved are things that we have divided. Absolute, eternal, pretty much synonymous. As I said before, I'm a novice to this thing. I'm really just going off the top of the head. I'm freestyling. I ain't putting no content, organizing no content together to make a video with. But I am gonna start doing it. I think it's only fair. Cause otherwise, I'm basically, it's almost like I'm rapping like the rappers today, where they, this line says something, this line says another, this line says another, rather than the whole verb being dedicated towards something. It's like they putting a bunch of stuff in 16 bars. That's what I'm doing right now. Freestyling. Yeah, I guess because, like I said before, I feel like Elijah. Oh man, no matter what they do. Oh, okay. So not no matter what they do. So it says that, So we would say that no matter what the evil try to do, they would not triumph over God and God's work, right? So it's like if somebody not gonna overcome me and triumph over me, what am I concerned about? I probably ain't even having no conversation about them triumphing over me. If God is eternal and we are of God, we are eternal. What is this about the world ending? What is this about things coming to an end? This body is temporary. It's gonna come to an end anyway. That end is not a bad thing for those of God. It's only a bad thing for those who are not of God. If you're not of God, most likely, God gonna show favor to you and give you power in this world. I'm sorry, give you riches and glory in this world to show you the riches and glories of God. Forsaking us 99 sheep to save you one sheep. How do you say sheep plural and singular? Because I ain't never heard of sheeps. I definitely gotta check that out and look that up. But anyway. I wonder if sheep is singular and sheepul is plural. I definitely gonna have to look it up. But anyway. Oh, I'm on my tablet, so I can't just, multitask and do all that without, interrupting and messing up the video, which I just realized I've been talking for 27 minutes. It sure don't feel like it, man. Wow. Time go by so fast, man. I'm talking about like I think I might go ahead and end that video, y'all. You know what I'm saying? I hope y'all appreciate that freestyle. I hope it was some nugget that you could find in here, just like a treasure chest of varied treasures, you know what I'm saying? This how most of my stuff gonna be. We're gonna call it a tangent line, as I said. Some stuff is just gonna be straight up. That's it. Cause hey, who puts a buried treasure where people gonna look for it? Buried treasures are found where people ain't finna gonna expect it to be. You feel me? I'm sure there's treasure in things that are well thought out, structured, and all that, and we would expect that. But when somebody freestyling, it might be there, but I would expect it. Like I'm looking for some structure, something that I understand already. Well, you will understand what I'm saying if you don't already, because I ain't saying nothing that you ain't saying, have said, or will be saying, or thinking. Yeah, I'm out like this here. I'm gonna make another video. Let's see what it do.